Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, if you read the title, you see that we are doing our after week one power rankings for the NFL. Yeah, if you didn't see, go through and watch the video beforehand to see what I thought before the season. And now we're going to go through and break down every team and their power rankings after week one going into week two. A lot of things I was wrong about. A lot of teams I thought would be good, played bad. A lot of teams I thought were going to be horrible, played better than I thought. And then every other team in the middle. So I won't keep you here long. Let's just start off at number 32. At number 32, we are going with the Miami Dolphins. They possibly might be the worst team in the entire league. They are very, very bad. It's abysmal to watch. If I am any team right now watching them, I am making an offer for Tyreek Hill. I am making an offer for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I am trying to get every good player that they have on that roster. They got beat down by the Colts and Danny Dimes. They made Danny Dimes look like the top pick that he should have been. This dude was slinging the ball all over the yard. It looked like his career was revitalized playing against the Miami Dolphins. They struggled mightily, and part of me thinks that it might be time for Mike McDaniel to step down as the head coach and go somewhere else to possibly be an offensive coordinator. The Dolphins were very bad. They are potentially the worst team in the league, and that's why I have them at number 32 in my power rankings. At number 31, we have the New Orleans Saints, and while they played a hard-fought game versus the Arizona Cardinals, this roster still all put together does not impress me whatsoever. When Spencer Rattler is your starting quarterback, things are not looking that good for you. There are other situations right now that I think are worse in terms of overall roster, but just in general right now, the Saints, yeah, they fought hard. Yeah, they are a decent roster. Spencer Rattler just is not the guy at quarterback. I think this is one of those, like, the Cardinals kind of saw who they were playing against in Spencer Rattler and thought, hey, we can kind of just walk in here and beat this team. Spencer Rattler put on a little bit of a show. They obviously couldn't get it done, losing by 7 points. But I think in the long run, the Saints are not a very good team. I think they're better than the Miami Dolphins right now, but I have the New Orleans Saints as my number 31 team in football for my power rankings. At number 30, and I honestly thought about putting this team at number 31, but it is the New York Giants. Russell Wilson should not be a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore, and I really hope that Brian Daboll comes to his senses and plays Jackson Dart. They are the only team this week that did not score a touchdown. They're just straight up horrible. I can't believe that the New York Giants saw Russell Wilson last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers and decided to make them their starting quarterback, even after having Jameis Winston on the roster and taking Jackson Dart in the first round. It is beyond insane to me. Russell Wilson should be sitting the bench. The Giants are just not a good team. And what was going on with Abdul Carter on that one play where instead of going to sack Jaden Daniels, he put his hand up like he was blocking a three-point shot in the corner? I was very much confused. I don't think Abdul Carter knows what sport he was playing at that time. Yeah, the Giants are bad. They might possibly be worse than the Saints, but I think if they play Jackson Dart, they'll be in a better situation. So, give me the Giants at number 30. And Malik Neighbors, I have a feeling, is going to pull an Odell Beckham. He will not be there for very long if they keep this up. At number 29, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. It doesn't look like Bryce Young was really worth the price of admission for that first overall pick. I thought he was going to have a pretty decent connection with Tetairoa McMillan. I thought he was going to look good with another year with Xavier Legette. That's just not the case right now. I don't like the way that the Panthers are playing. They were held to only 3 points through 3 quarters, and the game could have been much worse if there wasn't that insane one-handed interception, because Travis Hunter probably is walking in for an 84-yard touchdown if the defense didn't bail them out there with a one-handed pick. The Panthers they're bad. They're not very good, and it might go to show that I don't think Bryce Young is the guy. I think they're going to potentially move on from him if they are a bottom 5 team in the NFL. You hate to do that after what you gave up to get him, but the Panthers, they're not very good right now, and I don't think they're going to be good unless a switch flips for them. Yeah, Panthers number 29 in my power rankings. Number 28 for me is going to be the Cleveland Browns. They fought valiantly. They fought hard versus the Cincinnati Bengals. They held them to like what, 7 yards in the second half? Just absolutely incredible. The Browns defense is legit. The only problem is the offensive side of the ball. And I think it's going to be a problem for them the entire year. Now, they are getting Quinshon Judkins. He is a very dynamic runner. I watched him all throughout his career at Ohio State. The 1 year at Ohio State, I should say. I did watch him when he played at Ole Miss as well. He's a very dynamic runner. He can do things that the Browns need on the offensive side of the ball. I just think that it's going to get to a point where they're going to be probably 1-4, 0-5, and they're just going to decide, hey, let's kind of throw the rest of the season. Let's throw in Shedeur Sanders. Let's throw in Dillon Gabriel. I think in the long run, this Browns team is going to kind of fold on the season. And while they did play very good on the defensive side of the ball, Myles Garrett looked good with another 2 sacks. If you didn't see the video, I mean, he absolutely laid out Joe Burrow. It was rough. They did play well, but I just think in the long run, they're not going to be a very good team. I can see this team winning a few games with their defense, but overall, I have the Browns as my number 28 team in football right now. At number 27, I am going with the Tennessee Titans. They fought hard. They put on a good performance versus the Denver Broncos. Now, was this also a situation where the Broncos thought, hey, we're playing a rookie quarterback, we'll be able to kind of destroy this kid, and then Bo Nix, there's so much hype around him, and they just didn't play up to their strengths? I think that's the case. However, I think Cam Ward looked good against an elite defense, and what we thought was an elite defense, or should be an elite defense, in the Denver Broncos. His wide receivers just could not catch the ball. Cam Ward's dad was sick watching his receivers drop the ball for his son. It was tough to watch, but I think the Tennessee Titans had some things that they could build on. You know, as long as their receivers are catching the ball, Cam Ward was efficient in what he did. They struggled a little bit, but you're going to get that with a rookie quarterback. They played a very good team in the Denver Broncos, who a lot of people thought was a top 5 team. They had their struggles of their own, but I like where the Titans are going more than I do the Browns, the Panthers, the Giants, the Saints, all those teams like that. So I thought Cam Ward played well in his first career start in the NFL. I feel, I understand that if his receivers caught the ball, the game would have been a little bit better on paper. I don't think they still were winning that game versus the Denver Broncos, but Cam Ward, this is something that if you are a Titans fan, you're like, hey, I like what I saw out of Cam Ward. So right now I have them as my 27th team in the NFL. One of the biggest surprises of the week for number 26, we are going with the Indianapolis Colts. And I know a lot of you are probably like, well, they destroyed the Miami Dolphins. Daniel Jones looked great. That's kind of the issue for me right now, is they played the Miami Dolphins, who quite possibly might not even be better than a college team right now. They were just that bad. Tua was just that bad. I am not taking away what Danny Dimes did. He looked incredible. He looked like his career was revitalized. I want to see this team play up against a real squad, because right now, the Miami Dolphins just aren't it. I think Tyler Warren looked good. Danny Dimes looked good. I think that there are some things to be happy about. If you are an Indianapolis Colts fan, I want to see them play an actual team and not just the Miami Dolphins. Not trying to take away what the Colts did. It's just looking at the totality of the season, I think they're going to struggle, and that's why I have them at number 26 right now. At number 25, give me the Seattle Seahawks, because what were they doing? They were just, the defense was trash. They got Kittle out of the game. He was done. Brandon Ayuk isn't playing. Brock Purdy's hurt, and yet they still couldn't get a win versus the San Francisco 49ers. I thought that this Seattle team was going to be scrappy. I thought they were going to be good. They just didn't look good at all. They looked sluggish. They looked bad on the defensive side of the ball. It's tough. It is really rough going right now, and I can't even see them beating any team in the division the way that they played. I mean, I know that they're going to figure it out. They have a tough game this week versus the Steelers, but yeah, you give all that money to Sam Darnold, you got to put more points on the board than what you did, especially with a team that you're playing against that is just riddled with injuries. They are injury prone to the max. So yeah, the Seattle Seahawks right now are my 25th team in my power rankings. A team that hugely disappointed me this week. I thought they were going to be absolute dogs. I thought they were going to change the culture of their squad. At number 24, we are going with the New England Patriots. I can't believe they lost to the Raiders. I really don't. While I didn't think the Raiders were going to be the worst team in the league, I thought Mike Vrabel was going to come in there and just change the way that the Patriots looked. I thought he was going to change the culture, and it was a struggle fest for them and Drake May. They got torched by Brock Bowers when he was in the game. Ashton Genty, they let him score his first touchdown. Now, he did have 19 carries for 38 yards. So I would say that that's pretty good at stopping the run. They did a good job in that aspect. But, just when you look at what the Patriots should have been, losing to the Raiders is tough. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna turn it around, in my opinion. Mike Vrabel will not let this team be under 500, and if he does, that's a bad omen for them. But yeah, I don't think you should be losing to the Raiders. Which my number 23 team, we're gonna go with the Oakland Raiders, or the Las Vegas Raiders. I missed them being in Oakland. Yeah, it seemed like it overall culture change for them. I mean, Geno Smith, what a freaking game for him. 360 yards passing. He had a touchdown. Brock Bowers looked good. While Ashton Genty was bottled up, he still scored his first touchdown. The Raiders, I mean, what is Pete Carroll doing? He is changing what they are. I thought it was going to be a struggle fest for them. I really did. But they got a big win versus a team that I thought was in like the middle grounds. I thought they were going to be in like the 18 to 12 range throughout the season, but the Patriots struggled. The Raiders look great. So I have the Raiders at number 23 and the Patriots at number 24. I like what the Raiders did. They play in a tough division, but that's a big win for them versus the Patriots in week 1. Moving on, number 22, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They played the Panthers, who were very bad. Trevor Lawrence had his struggles. He was 19 for 31, only one touchdown pass, threw some interceptions. The scoreboard could have been worse if there wasn't that one-handed interception. Travis Hunter's probably walking in for a touchdown. Travis Etienne looked good as well. The defense obviously held the Panthers to only 10 points. It just seems like Liam Cohen, sorry, I couldn't remember his name. He was a little bit perturbed with what was going on the offensive side of the ball. I figured that he probably thought they should have played a lot better. For some reason, they got rid of Tank Bigsby. I really liked him, but I guess they really like what they got with their running back room. They sent him away to Philadelphia. The Jags, they play in a very winnable division, but there are some things that I think they could get better at, more so on the defensive side of the ball, and Trevor Lawrence just needs to play a little bit better. He was lucky that he only played the Panthers this week. I think if they played any other team, they probably would have lost, probably other than the Dolphins. But the Jaguars, they got something to build on right now. So I like the trajectory that they're on. They just got to kind of clean things up a little bit, we'll say. At number 21, this was a huge surprise to me. Give me the New York Jets. Oh my goodness. For like 5 hours after that game ended versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets had the potential to have one of the best games of the week, and then that Ravens and Bills game happened. But I was very surprised what I saw from this New York Jet team. I thought they were going to struggle versus the Steelers, and Armin Membu was possibly the best lineman we've seen all week. The guy shut down TJ Watt. The running game for them looked great. Now, I don't know if the running game was good or the Steelers are just that bad. Justin Fields put it all together. He had a good connection with Garrett Wilson. He was running. He was scrambling. The Steelers were getting to him. They just could not get him down. Justin Fields, his career looked super revitalized, and I hope that he could put this together for an entire season. My only reason why I have them where I do in this power rankings at number 21 is it just the fact that the Steelers defense is just that bad right now because they were getting gashed by the run. They couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed, and the Jets defense really didn't look any better. They let Aaron Rodgers throw for 4 touchdowns on them in a revenge game. But if you are a Jet fan, I get that you're upset that you lost this game because you had every opportunity to win. But this is something to be excited about. You haven't seen an offense this dynamic and this exciting in a long time. You should be very happy at what the boys did because this was supposed to be an ugly game. This was really supposed to be just a defensive, ugly slugfest, just only field goals. This game was very, very fun. So the New York Jets right now are number 21 in my power rankings. They look good and they have potential to move up the boards in the coming weeks for me. Number 20, give me the Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons this week took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a loss, but I thought that they looked not bad. I mean, Bijan Robinson looked good. He had 100 yards through the air. He had a touchdown. Michael Penix looked good. It's just that they ran into a very good team in what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, and you saw Emeka Egbuka put on a show. We'll talk about them a little bit later. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good team. But the Falcons, this is a team that middle of the road for me. They're one of those teams that they'll win the games they're supposed to win, they'll lose the games they're supposed to lose, and maybe they'll steal one here and there from a good team. So I like what we saw from Michael Penix Jr., almost throwing for 300 yards. The Buccaneers should be a little bit worried about that, but there are weapons across the board for the Falcons. We expected this to be a higher scoring game. We didn't get the high scoring that we thought, but if I'm a Falcons fan, it's like, okay, Michael Penix Jr., he's getting his reps under him. He looks like what Bryce Young should be right now. So if you're a Falcons fan, you should be happy about what you saw with your team, even in a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 19, I thought about putting this team behind the Falcons, but just I feel like they'll be able to figure it out, and that is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears look like they had that game in the bag versus the Vikings. The Vikings look dead throughout the first three quarters. I mean, J.J. McCarthy looked like he didn't understand how to play quarterback at all. Not even just at the NFL level, just at all. The Bears just slipped it away. And I'm putting that game on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was missing wide open passes. He was sailing the ball too much. It was ugly. It was really freaking ugly. And the Bears just kind of gave it away. For some reason, after that pick six, something just flipped in JJ McCarthy's brain, and he went on an absolute tear. And that is a game that you cannot lose. You cannot lose that game if you are the Chicago Bears. So, I don't really want to have the Falcons above them in the power rankings, but I do think that the Bears will figure it out. I think Caleb Williams needs to settle down a little bit. He wasn't setting his feet. I feel like I tweeted this. I feel like he was more worried about putting zip on the ball than actually being accurate. I think he'll calm down. I think he'll figure it out, but that is a game you cannot lose. You cannot lose that game if you're the Chicago Bears with how dead the Vikings looked. You gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter. You cannot do that against a pseudo rookie quarterback. Yeah, the Chicago Bears, I'm gonna keep them at number 19. I don't like it. I think the Falcons could maybe be ahead of them, but we'll put the Bears at number 19. At number 18, give me the Arizona Cardinals. They are okay. They are one of those teams, again, that I think are going to be middling throughout the entire year. One of the things is I just don't think you can't let Kyler Murray get hot. He didn't look all world beater this game. He had 163 yards passing. He did have 2 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr., he looked better. He had 5 receptions. He had a touchdown. Trey Benson looked good for them, so they do have 2 decent running backs. This Cardinals team is their roster is getting better. I will say that if Kyler Murray struggles, this entire team struggles. This isn't one of those teams that the defense can bail them out. This isn't one of those teams that they can get lucky and win a game. They need their quarterback to play well to win the big games. They played the Saints this week, so they kind of could get away with low-end quarterback play. But what I saw from the Cardinals, I don't think that they're all world beater. I think they're middle of the pack. I think they're going to, again, win the games they should win, lose the games they should lose, and maybe steal a game here or there. I think they are a better version of the Falcons right now. So I have them at my number 18 spot in my power rankings. At number 17, this team surprised me. This team could have knocked off the Super Bowl champions, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. This team looks like they are a Micah Parsons type player away from being the upper echelon of the NFC. Yeah, they looked great in the first half. I just don't know what happened in the second half. Philly really tightened up. Yeah, they didn't have Jalen Carter, but CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott in the first half. It looked like CeeDee Lamb was on his way to having 200 yards receiving in this game. For some reason in the second half, he just couldn't catch the ball. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they were one drop pass away from potentially losing this game to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott looked good. The only thing is, like, listen, it's hard to stop Saquon Barkley. It's hard to stop Jalen Hurts on the ground. They are elite at what they do. And the pass rush for the Dallas Cowboys kind of was not there. The defense looked a little abysmal. I'll say they need to figure out how to stop the run. They need to figure out how to rush the passer. Their defense is what's going to hold them back if they're playing a top offense in the NFL. But they were potentially a drop pass away from winning this game. CeeDee Lamb, 2 big drops, possibly 3 big drops. So the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, you want to win this game, obviously. Your offense looked good. Your defense really needs to figure it out, but you were potentially a drop pass away from beating the Super Bowl champions. I guess that's something that you could be excited about if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. That is why I have them at number 17 in my power rankings. At number 16, give me the San Francisco 49ers, and this may not last for long. They did get a win versus the Seattle Seahawks, who the Seahawks kind of looked kind of trash. Not kind of trash, a lot trash, but I don't think the 49ers are going to be at this spot for long. Now, their defense looked good. Their defense looked pretty good compared to what the Dallas Cowboys look like, who are above them in these power rankings. But everybody's hurt on this team, so I don't know how long they're going to stay at this number 16 spot. Brock Purdy's looking hurt. He has a shoulder and a toe injury. Ricky Pearsall right now is their number 1 wide receiver. They brought back Kendrick Bourne. George Kittle's gone. It's tough. And who knows how long Christian McCaffrey's going to hold up. But I still would rather have this roster right now than I would the Dallas Cowboys, just because of the whole defensive aspect. And I do think that with Christian McCaffrey, they'll be able to still put up points. They are still a middling team in the NFC. And I think right now, if it was a home game, I think the 49ers still may beat the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going to have them at the number 16 spot, the 49ers, but that may not last for long with how many injuries they have on their roster. At number 16, give me the Houston Texans. My goodness, they looked bad. Only scoring 9 points. I get that they played the Rams, who are a good team. But what happened to CJ Stroud after his rookie season? He looks rough. They gave up a ton of yards to Puka Nacua. They gave up just oh my goodness. They don't look very good at all. Nick Chubb was their leading rusher with 60 yards. Their leading receiver, we all thought Nico Collins was going to be good. Their leading receiver was Higgins with 32 yards receiving. This was supposed to be like a top roster. This was supposed to be like an easy cakewalk division winner for them. Just being at the top of their division. And right now, the way that they're playing, I can't see them being better than the Colts. It's tough right now. Tough sledding for the Houston Texans. Now, where I am giving them the benefit of the doubt, they played the Rams. The Rams are a good team, in my opinion. Spoiler alert, I think the Rams are a top 10 team in the NFL, so I think that the Texans may be able to bounce back, but CJ Stroud has not looked very good. Their defense did hold the Rams to only 14 points, so that's where I am going to put them for the power rankings at number 15, but jeez. CJ Stroud has to figure it out, dude. He really does. At number 14, give me the Cincinnati Bengals. And the second half for them looked terrible. Terrible. They had 7 yards in the second half? It is rough. Ja'Marr Chase got locked down. I mean, comparatively to what Jamar Chase is used to doing. The Bengals defense, though, they did hold their own. They did play the Browns, which it was just a defensive slugfest, and that's where I am going to give this team the benefit of the doubt. It's a defensive slugfest, and the Cincinnati Bengals, for some reason, can never figure it out in the beginning of the year, and I have a feeling that they'll get their legs under them. They'll start rolling, but yeah, right now, that was a tough game to watch if you were a Bengals fan, because that's one of those games that's like, hey, we should be able to completely destroy the Cleveland Browns, and you didn't do that whatsoever. It came down to the wire. Luckily for you, you did play the Cleveland Browns, because maybe any other team you were probably losing. So, yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they'll be okay, but right now they are completely middle of the road for me. They are my number 14 team, sorry, in my power rankings. Bengals are my number 14 team. I forget what I said, if I said 15 or 14. At number 13, give me the Broncos. Dude, what happened? You had a game that was supposed to be handed a gift-wrapped W for you that should have been easy. And while you still won, I'll give you that, Bo Nix looked terrible. Bo Nix looked like trash. And the receivers for the Tennessee Titans just could not catch the ball. Now, I'm not saying you would have lost had they would have caught the ball, but this is a game that I feel like you should have dominated. I had you last week. Where did I have the Broncos? I had the Broncos as my number 9 team in my power rankings, and you fell far. You're down to number 13 now. Yeah, I did not like what I saw out of Bo Nix. You play in a tough division. You need to figure this out. You got to win. A win is a win in the NFL. I will say that. And again, maybe this was one of those things where you thought, hey, we're playing a rookie quarterback. We'll be able to completely dominate it and win this game easily. And it was kind of a trap spot, I guess, for week 1. That would be on Sean Payton for not getting the boys ready. But yeah, that was a struggle fest all the way through. Bo Nix, call him Bo Picks. Yeah, he was not very good, but I'm still going to have you at number 13 in my power rankings, Denver Broncos, but you cannot continue this the entire season. At number 12, give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh my goodness, are the Pittsburgh Steelers fun again? Because the offense was fun. It was fun to watch. The defense, though, the Pittsburgh Steelers poured like $2 trillion into their defense, and they couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed. They couldn't stop a runny nose. It was rough. Thank goodness they had a quarterback that was able to move the ball. This Steeler team last year, if the defense looked that bad, they would lose this game 20-0, because Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, whoever else they had, Mitch Trubisky, couldn't do anything. Thankfully, they have a Hall of Famer at quarterback again who was able to move the ball. Without Aaron Rodgers, this team looked like trash. Now, the Jets defense didn't look any better as well. I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers played any sort of competent defense, if they played somebody like the Chargers, if they played somebody like the Rams, I feel like they're losing this game. Good. Luckily for them, they did play the Jets, but it was a very fun game overall. I think the Steelers are going to figure it out on defense. I think they're going to lock in. They did have some people hurt. They need to get Harmon back. They need to get Herbig back. They did just sign Jabril Peppers because Deshaun Elliott got hurt. The Steelers, I think, will figure it out on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're going to look at this game and be like, what the hell were we doing? Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to regress a little bit. I don't think he's going to play like this the entire year, but I still think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a very good team throughout the entire season. They'll be middling all year. They'll finish over 500, do the thing that they usually do. But right now, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers as my number 12 team in all of football. In at number 11, give me a team that I thought was dead in the water. I thought this team had no shot of winning, and that is the Vikings. Oh my goodness. I owe an apology to JJ McCarthy. I was not familiar with your game, even though I am familiar with your game, because I thought you were just a handoff merchant, and you looked like trash. You looked horrible in the first 3 quarters. And whatever happened in that 4th quarter, buddy, if you do that every quarter for the entire season, this team may win a Super Bowl. Now, you also have to put into effect that Caleb Williams didn't look the best as well, but what resiliency. What a freaking game by the Minnesota Vikings to come back scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter. You look dead in the water. JJ McCarthy was screaming at his offensive lineman on the sidelines after he threw a pick six, fired up the boys, fired up himself. What a game. Kevin O'Connell is elite at what he does. He is a quarterback whisperer. You saw what he did with Sam Darnold. Now he's doing the same thing with JJ McCarthy. While you are probably a little upset about what you saw in the first three quarters, you are beyond excited that you got a win. Because again, you look dead in the water if you were the Vikings. So yeah, you were my number 11 team. Just a crazy game all around. Huge win for the Minnesota Vikings. All right, moving on to our top 10. At number 10, give me the Chargers. And I know a lot of you are probably like, what do you mean the Chargers? They beat the Chiefs. Why are they below the Chiefs? Because again, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that the problems that the Chiefs had, they'll be able to figure it out. But Justin Herbert very much impressed me. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey looked good. O'Marion Hampton got kind of shut down. The run game got kind of shut down. Patrick Mahomes also played good as well. Hollywood Brown looked good. This is one of those situations where I think that I don't think the better team won. And I know that a lot of you are gonna argue with me about that. I think the Chiefs are still better than the Chargers right now. I think if they play that game 10 times, I think the Chiefs win 7 of them. And this was just one of those 3 times that the Chargers won. I am not discounting what the Chargers did whatsoever. They looked awesome. Justin Herbert looked awesome. I just don't know if they could put that together for an entire season. I think that the Chargers are a good team. Right now, I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are a better team than the Chargers. Again, I'm not discounting what the Chargers did. They are a top 10 team right now in my rankings. Where did I have the Chargers last time? I had the Chargers at 13. You're making moves. You keep winning games like this, you're going to keep moving up the ranks. So don't be mad at me. I just think the Chiefs are better. Even though you won, not discounting that. Like I said 3 freaking times already, you look good. So congratulations to you guys. At number 9, give me the Rams. I think the Rams are a top 10 team in this league, and I think that the offense is going to figure it out and start going. They shut down CJ Stroud. Like I said, they held him to barely any yards passing. I mean, CJ Stroud in his rookie season looks abysmal to what he does now. Puka Nacua just is continuing his absolute dominance. The Rams, I think, are playing in a very winnable division right now. The Rams look good on the defensive side of the ball. I think the offense is going to be able to super figure it out. Yeah, I just like the Rams. Really not much else to say. I really covered it mostly when I was talking about the Texans. So, yeah, the Rams are my number 9 team in my power rankings. At number 8, give me the Bucks. The Bucks fought hard, and Emeka Egbuka, dude, so freaking good. Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, once they get Chris Godwin back, I love it. I absolutely love it. They do need to figure out their run game. Baker Mayfield didn't have the best game passing. But they played a team that has very good weapons in the Falcons. Yeah, it came down to the wire. Yeah, it came down to Younghoe Koo missing a kick to tie the game up. But I still really like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster, and Emeka Egbuka looks like an absolute star. At number 8, oh my goodness, what happened to this team? Is Dan Campbell a merchant for his coordinators? The Lions looked like absolute dog shit. They looked horrible versus the Green Bay Packers. Horrible. And while I'm not saying they couldn't lose this game, it's the way they lost this game. The offense looked bad. The defense looked bad. Jared Goff didn't look the best. The only redeeming quality that they had is that Tesla had a beautiful touchdown. But my goodness, what are you doing, Lions? They're going to figure it out. Don't think they won't. I made a video talking about if Dan Campbell was a fraud. It was kind of rage bait, but it's also, I think I'm posing a pretty legit question because you can't get beat down this bad. Yes, the Packers are good. I'm not saying the Packers are a bad team whatsoever. It's the way you got beat. This game should have looked worse on the scoreboard. I think the Lions are going to figure it out, but man, that was brutal. That was ugly. Very bad. Very, very bad. At number 6, give me the Washington Commanders. Big win versus the Giants. We kind of covered it about the Giants, though. Yeah, the Giants are crazy. But Bill Krosky-Merritt looked good. He had 10 carries, 82 yards, a touchdown. Deebo Samuel looked good. He had 7 receptions for 77 yards. Jaden Daniels is continuing what he's doing. He did look, there were a few passes that I thought he should have hit, but overall, this they won the game. They won it in good fashion as well. A lot of people probably thought they should have put up more points, but they held the Giants to not scoring a touchdown. Listen, it is hard to do that in the NFL. It really is. So I like what I saw from the Washington Commanders. This is something to build on, and I think they're going to be a threat throughout the NFC. Number 5, give me the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, I know you're going to be like, but they lost. The Kansas City Chiefs, they lost. They're still a very good roster. They just went up against a very hot team right now in Justin Herbert and Quentin Johnston. Absolutely just murked their defense. But again, Patrick Mahomes played well. Xavier Worthy got hurt. That is just another wrinkle. But even with Xavier Worthy getting hurt, Hollywood Brown looked very good. I still think this Chiefs team is a top 5 team in the NFL, even after a loss. Now, there are some things that they do need to still clean up. I don't think their offensive line looked the best, which was a problem for them in the Super Bowl. But as long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy, as long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are at the helm of this offense, they are a top 5, top 10 team in the NFL. And right now, I think that they are still better than the Washington Commanders. I still think they're better than the Chargers. They're better than the Rams. They're better than the Bucs. If you want to tell me that the Chiefs, if you want to flip the Chargers and the Chiefs, I mean, there is an argument to be made, but the Chiefs to me still are a top 5 team in the league. It's hard to dispute that, in my opinion. At number 4, a team that absolutely dominated a team that I had in my power rankings at number 5. That is the Lions. The Green Bay Packers looked freaking awesome. It wasn't even just they looked awesome. They dominated. Their defense looked good. The running game looked good. Jordan Love looked good. And they just look good. They really did. And this team is a Super Bowl contender. The Micah Parsons trade made them a Super Bowl contender, and everybody, I posted a thing talking about like, oh, I can't believe that Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons, and everyone's like, he only had 1 sack and blah. You have to take into account that Micah Parsons is the type of player that elevates everybody else on the defensive side of the ball because you kind of have to double team him most of the time. So that leaves openings for everybody else, and that's kind of what happened in this game. The Packers are good. Micah Parsons is good. This Packers team has the potential to win the Super Bowl. They are that freaking good, and they dominated the Lions. This game could have been even worse on paper if it wasn't for that highlight reel garbage time touchdown. The Packers are good, and they are a top 4 team for me right now in the NFL. At number 3, give me the Baltimore Ravens. Holy cow, what a freaking game that they had versus the Buffalo Bills. Derrick Henry looked awesome. Lamar Jackson looked awesome. That catch by DeAndre Hopkins was awesome. The only problem is right now, Jim Harbaugh, why can't you finish games when you have double-digit leads? You are blowing these games constantly. I don't get it. You seemingly had this game in the bag. The Buffalo Bills looked dead in the water. Their fans were leaving the stadium. And Derrick Henry fumbles. Keon Coleman scores an electric acrobatic touchdown. Josh Allen did the thing. Josh Allen threw for 250 yards in the 4th quarter alone. Josh Allen put up MVP numbers this game. But yeah, that's a game you can't lose. But even so in a loss, you still looked great. And I think if you literally played any other team than the Buffalo Bills, quite literally any other team, you are dominating that game, maybe winning by 15, 20 points. And I mean that seriously. The Ravens have the potential to have the best roster in all of the league. It's just, for some reason, when it comes down to these high scoring, or when it comes down to these double-digit leads that they have, they just blow them away. And at number 2, we're going to go with the Buffalo Bills. My God, Josh Allen, you are awesome. They have to figure it out a little bit, stopping Derrick Henry. Now, you don't have to play him every single week. That's good for you. Derrick Henry, for some reason, owns you guys. But the way you fought, the way you didn't give up, the way Josh Allen looked, just absolutely insane. Now, this is one of those situations where I think if these teams played 10 times, it's a split series, 5-5. This is just one of those situations where the Ravens lost and you won, and they just gave it away. But my goodness, there's an argument that either the I could have the Ravens or the Bills at number 1. They just looked that good. Incredible. That could possibly be game of the year in week 1. And we're already going to go to our number 1 team. And if you haven't figured it out yet, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I get it. They had a chance to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Jalen Carter wasn't in the game. That is a big freaking deal. Saquon Barkley did the thing, just running like wild. He's a madman. Jalen Hurts looked great. Yeah. AJ Brown, he didn't do anything. Honestly, actually, I was going to say he didn't do much of anything. He didn't do anything whatsoever. He had 1 catch. That's not going to happen for long. They're going to get him involved in this offense, and then, yeah, you are stuck. They're going to get Jalen Carter back. The defense is going to be fine. They're the Super Bowl champions. They are, the top team for a reason. Now, if you wanted to tell me you wanted to have the Ravens at number 1, I wouldn't argue it. If you wanted to tell me you wanted to have the Bills at number 1, I wouldn't argue it. If you wanted to tell me you wanted to have the Packers at number 1, I probably wouldn't argue it. These top 4 teams, the Packers, Ravens, Bills, and Eagles, you could kind of put them in any order for me right now, honestly. But right now, I am going to stick with the Super Bowl champs, the reigning Super Bowl champs. The Philadelphia Eagles are my number 1 team in my power ranking. So yes, that is my after week 1 power rankings for the NFL. Let me know what you thought. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. Let me know where you think I'm right. And let me know who your top 5 teams are in the NFL. Check out my website, read my blog, check out all of our short form content. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts. We are everywhere. And we will be back again on Friday for another episode of the Hail Mary. That is our podcast. If you don't listen to that, please check it out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and have a beautiful day. Listen to the podcast on Friday. I will be back next Wednesday to do our after week 2 power rankings. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Peace out.